Hello, guys out there. I've just wanted to share my truthful story. What happened to me years ago, specifically in Berlin City, at the territory of Germany. And this is not a this is no threatening to Germany or to Berlin. This is uh, no hatred to specific people, but this is just a life story that has happened to me, and I would say that you know I'm glad that I was going through that it happens to me, and for I glorify the name of Yeshua for it all, even if it is not purposely for Yeshua Hamashiach. And what happens to me? It actually, in fact, it happens to me that there's at Berlin City, specifically in 2021. One day I was going through streets of Berlin, and alone, walking and alongside Berlin streets, and that was at the time, that was still a COVID-19 era, and all those restrictions and lockdowns and closures of shops and coffee shops and all the restaurants, and everything was shut down, which means that everything was shut down and nothing was opened, and no branch was opened, no shop was opened, and with that it is related, restrooms and or toilets and so on, and and bathrooms and so on. And at the time I was still dwelling and staying at hostel, and I had my hostel room booked, and so I was living there. I was staying there, but at the time, so I had no my own I had no apartment for myself at Berlin at that time. I was staying at my hostel room, and also going to work and so on. Even if it was uh, half and 50 percent official or non-official, it is I was somehow employed, but it doesn't matter right now. But in my free time, I was walking alongside streets of Berlin, and all of a sudden, when during the day, not during the night, during the day, I was walking through Berlin streets, and all of a sudden, I I uh, I needed I needed to I needed to I needed to go number two, and all of a sudden, and all of a sudden, there were no restrooms all over, or no toilets, and nothing of that, and I was and all shops and restaurants and coffee shops were closed, were shut down, therefore I couldn't have chosen that option of going to some restaurants, restroom, and so on, and so I needed to go number two, and a long time, no restroom, and so I googled it on my phone, where's some nearest restroom? Nowhere, and and everything was shut down, and my place was uh, maybe 4 kilometers or sometime or for 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles. I'm not sure right now how many kilometers or miles it was, and plus minus, and several kilometers or several miles, so that was like that. And what happens to me? This is not for Czech people. Just obviously, I needed to say clearly. This is just for the West and the East and the rest of the world, and I must do that. So this is for those who don't believe me and for those who don't trust me. And I don't lean on no person. I don't do that for myself. I just do that so that others can be saved and wake up, in their own lives, and not for myself, not for me, and not and so on. So what happens to me? Specifically, it happens to me that so I needed to go number two, and so I was walking alongside Berlin Street, and from where, from district where many sex workers walk alongside streets, and and all of a sudden I needed to swiftly go, so I just started walking swiftly, and all of a sudden, some girls and not girls, maybe girls, but later but older women, older women in my age or older also, 30 years, 35 years, and so on, maybe 40 years. And they started shooting me on their phone, on camera, and live, going live, and started, and started shooting me and going live, and persecuting me and going after me wherever I went, and so I needed to go swiftly, and for I needed to go number two, and not to show up before camera, and also sorry, I need to go, and my stomach is full, and all of a sudden, so I needed to go. So I've decided to go to the nearest park, and all of a sudden I arrived there, and I was literally and all those groups, and many other several groups went after me alone, and for I was there alone, and all the time they were shooting me on a camera, and that was not pleasant. That was nasty, but inside of me, I was happy, I was joyful, and I was praising the name of Yeshua, saying, thank you, Yeshua, for this. And this is something what happens also to the Apostle Paul 2,000 years ago. And the Apostle Paul was totally, put off. All his clothes, all his clothing, and everything, and this happens to me at Berlin City, that I was completely forced to put off my clothes and put off my clothes, including my underwear, everything, totally naked. And then they were shooting on me on camera, live, I don't know how many followers they had, and I didn't care. And my purpose was not to show up being naked, but my purpose was just to change my clothes swiftly and go into my hostel room and more cleaner, not that as I was left, So I swiftly changed my clothes, and then so I put off all my clothes, and then I put on the rest of my clothes, and that was cleaner, and then I turned around and disappeared, and that's everything, and from that moment, somehow, and that everything, that's incident, that event, that was somehow publicly seen, publicly observed, and also I've noticed that I was observed not only by on the camera, on the screen, but I was observed also through the third eye. By locals, and they were commenting then, they were commenting me, and they were talking about me in German. I understood somehow German language, and so as an American, I understood somehow that the German language, and they were commenting something, and also throughout the entire park, I heard those human voices, commenting, and so I swiftly changed my clothes and swiftly disappeared and went to my hostel room, and that's everything. So in order to believe me and trust me, I needed to do this radical act. I will put off my clothes, and then swiftly, immediately put on the clothes back on my body. Okay. So this is what may happen to anyone on this planet, and this is not for my shame. I'm not ashamed of that. For my purpose is not sexual. My purpose is not somehow weird and so on. But this is also that you wear some brands on yourself, and you put it off. You put it everything off, and you put it everything off, and then you don't belong to them. You don't belong to those brands, to those companies, and you are free. And this is exactly that, and this is exactly that, and this is exactly that. So, and Right now I'm back again, and again, put on and I put on my clothes again on myself, and so this was just a short show of what has happened to me, and specifically at Berlin City, at Germany, at 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 the year of 2021, and also that was still a winter season. It was maybe January, February. I'm not sure right now, and I needed to put off my clothes and put off put off my clothes and put on my clothes back again. So and this incident and this event, became extremely public worldwide, and so they also shot some photos and pictures of me, and videos, and everything became public, and that was and that and that and that that happens to me after I after the month of December, when I publicly stood up against pornography, against pornography industry publicly at Germany, at the Berlin City, and all of a sudden they lost their business, and and that was maybe that was that was their threatening to so that their business can turn back, and their so this is it, so I'm extremely happy. I'm glad, for I have my conscience clear, and I'm innocent. I'm really innocent in this, and I'm completely innocent. For every guilt put on me, it's really false, and every every accusation against me is false. For I am living, properly. I'm living properly as I can, and as I know, and I'm living as the light of and the salt of Yeshua Hamashiach before the entire civilization. It's not just for some groups. It's for the entire civilization, for everyone, including those who have never interested in Yeshua, including those the most famous personalities or stars. This is for every single one, for each of them also, and before them all also, and not only before some small groups, for why? Because the hope is for everyone, and when it is extremely public, the hope and the message of Yeshua, the good news of Yeshua, is extremely public and for and accessible and available to everyone. It is accessible and available to every single one on this planet. And therefore I'm not ashamed of that. I feel no shame. And even if I would have felt some shame, I ignore it and I reject it for this is for that is not my feeling, that is not my soul, and that is some foreign soul and some foreign emotion, and I don't belong to emotions. I don't obey emotions. I don't obey my feelings. I don't or no feelings. I don't obey no feelings, no emotions. I don't obey. I don't obey my soul or no soul. I obey the Spirit who is within me. I also don't belong. I don't obey my mind. No thoughts. I obey the Spirit all the time. Also at that time when I was in Berlin, at 2020 and 2021, I obeyed only the Spirit and not those thoughts coming in and coming now. Only the Spirit, and those who have thought that I obeyed thoughts, that was a lie. This was a lie, and why they thought that? Because they didn't know me, and also right now still they don't know me, and they just seem to be just fools because they extremely and radically, promote some information about me, but they don't know if that's truly true, if that's truly the truth about me. And they are not sure, they just make up the stuff, including Czech people, about me, including other nations who do the same or who were doing the same. And all of them who were part of it against me, they were guilty. And I was innocent. I've been innocent. And also the other thing I would highlight, why, prostitute people, why are prostitutes, why prostitutes worldwide, not from one country and nation specifically, but worldwide, everywhere. Why they wanna take money from me, and even if they are either broke, and even if they are wealthier than myself, and they just and I am broke right now, I am broke right now, and they wanna make me even more broke, and why? Am I not that enough broke? Should I become even more broke? Isn't it enough? Isn't it sufficient? For I just survive, and they survive also, but they are selfish, and I don't wanna be selfish, and I am not. I'm content in everything, and I don't complain. But they complain because they don't have no hope. And I know I am in the same situation like them. But many of them, they are wealthier and richer than myself. And still they want to take money from me instead of giving money to me. Why? And even if they have millions of materials of my naked body, it is not sufficient for them. And still they take money from me Why? Why? Tell me why. Am I not that? Am I not that valuable? Or maybe they just they just misuse that. They just misuse that for their own purposes, and they just wanna make more money. They just wanna make more money from me. And why? This is weird. This is really weird. And this is really this is maybe extreme and radical. But I must defend myself also. I've survived, and I'm glad that I've survived. I must be doing my tasks and to finish my tasks until the end. And it is I have my work for years, decades, literally for years and decades. And this is just a plan. This is just a vision, my vision and my plan. But that's not So they take away money from me. They steal money from me, and they are not willing to give me money. Why? This is really for the glory of Yeshua. For I'm innocent and I'm really I'm innocent, and I glorify the name of Yeshua above all, above every single circumstance and above every single situation in my life. And I ignore all lies and speaking about me. It's worthless to just mention it. And when I just mention something, it is for your sake, not for my sake. It is for your sake. For my life is related to your life, y'all. And when you are, bound with me, I am bound with you. But and when I'm bound with you, you are bound with me. And you think, you just think, one moment, you just think that it is not part of it. That it is not part of your life. That it doesn't count on you. But actually so. But actually it is part of your life also. And you are in the same situation just like me. And you don't know it. You maybe don't know it. And maybe you don't want to trust it. You don't want to believe it, that it is true. But it is. It is true. And so that's what I wanted to say concerning this. And so I know there's a huge thing, and a huge topic, huge thing, huge theme. But I just wanted to publicly say that, and why to publicly say that. Before all, let others know that. Let others know those secret lies that others don't know. And this is also another trap. Not my trap, but it has been really to my life. that many have thought that I've become extremely rich and wealthy person, and I am. But they've somehow that some information went public to them also, that I've received some extremely huge amount of money, but that was not true. That was not true. I have never received that, nor in Germany, nor in Czechia, nor in any other state of the European Union, nor in the United States. Nowhere. It means that they've just thought and believed that I've received that, but actually not. And then they would say, and they were saying, you are extremely rich. Go away from us. Go away from, we don't want to talk to you. We don't want to help you. We are afraid of you. But we don't know that you are broke. We don't know that you are the most known personality globally for the entire civilization, and you are broke. You should have been the richest person on this earth. You should have been the most richest person on personality on this earth, on this planet. But physically you are not yet. And all around the world they speak about you, and you have no money, and you are broke, and you can't travel. You can't, and also others can't travel. For those pop stars, politicians, they just want to control that. No way. This is for those pop stars, politicians, they have never experienced this. What I'm experiencing, what I've been experiencing, what's very known globally and worldwide known stars and celebrities experience. For they are prisoners. They are not they are not only known personalities worldwide. They are prisoners, and they are slaves of the system. They are slaves of the system that controls them. And politicians, they are not stars. Politicians are only known only nationwide. Politicians are politicians are or mostly nationwide, of course, worldwide also, but that's not their case. They are preferably they prefer their own nation, and they are not globally worldwide known as those stars and worldwide known stars and personalities, and also I'm not I'm not, basically, I'm not a star. I'm not a celebrity. I'm, I'm just a very extremely known personality person worldwide. Which is the difference? And I know, for instance, Sarbina Carpenter, you know, they, those in Hollywood, they just, they just threaten her, and also Madonna and all those stars. They just threaten her and them, you know, you know, with such lies, that, you know, threatening her with many threatenings, kinds of threatenings, such as killing and such as extreme. So this is so they are threatening her with such lies, and it is very heavy, and it is not that's challenging. That's challenging for her and for Madonna and for others, and I know that, and saying that this if you no longer continue in that works in those tasks that you were doing for Hollywood and for movie factory, then you would risk some charges or some many evil stuff, and also and I'm sure there's Sabrina Carpenter and Madonna and all those individuals. They'll be protected. They can't touch them. They can't touch them. But not every single one of such stars have such how to say that, have such chance. For many have killed, many of them have killed themselves, or they have been killed by others. And for such reasons, for disobedience toward their contracts with some companies and movie factories and with music studios and so on. And when they owned them one time and they lost them another time, they became furious at them, and they have wanted to kill them, and some of them they killed. And I'm not a fan of it. I'm innocent, and I that's not my that guilt is on them, not on those individuals, not on me. But it usually happens in the world. The world is evil. The world is not loving. There's no love, no kindness, no mercy in the world. This is it. So that's all what I wanted to say concerning this and so on. So wake up, guys. Wake up, individuals. Wake up, and do not allow whatever manipulation and or control to manipulate your life and to manipulate and to control your life. Do not allow it, and rather stand against it together with me, and go together with me against it, and against manipulation and control, and do no longer make yourself a robot or a puppet, but become a free person, and you can become you can become it. You can become it, and you can become stronger than all of them, than all enemies against you. And the only one hope is Yeshua. Yeshua, not you, not them, not those, but Yeshua from heaven, from above. That spirit, that invisible spirit of Yeshua, that He's teaching, that's what I teach also, what the Yeshua scripture says. That is that spirit of Yeshua, that everything, so that's all what I've wanted to say right now. So report it from me alone, Simon Paul, as the powerful testimony and life story about Yeshua's greatness, love, mercy, and all the glory belongs only to the Spirit of Yeshua, to the Spirit of God, Yeshua HaMashiach, for everything what He has done, but also for everything what His people, including me, have had to be going through for His name, for His sake, and for the sake of obedience toward Yeshua HaMashiach, and for the sake of disobedience towards these worldly systems and of nations and countries and so on. So again, this is from me alone, Simon Paul, reporting. See you later.